So welcome to my reaction to the unveiling of the Nintendo Switch 2. All of the first-party games and third-party games. It's finally here. They're finally announced it. We have a date, June 5th. It is coming out. I will ask you guys down below, what did you think of this Nintendo Direct? Did it live up to expectations or did it leave you flat?
Let's go! Yahoo!
For me, I just want to say this. I did not live stream the event, and I'm very happy that I didn't, because I got to really take it all in, process it, and then come to my conclusions about what I think of this Nintendo Direct, because there's a lot of information. I want to say I got 7 pages of notes here to get through, and I just want to start right at the beginning and go all the way through. I'm not going to mention every single game, but I will mention most. So they finally showed Mario Kart playing. We all thought the name would be Mario Kart 9. It is now Mario Kart World. And this is fascinating to see. We all love Mario Kart Deluxe. That was one of the greatest games ever on Nintendo Switch. They're back again. What is the claim to fame of this brand new game, which is a launch game, by the way, which you got to take that into consideration. You're like, oh wow, that's launching with a system. 24 players at once, and that's a big deal. And it's free roam, so you can go off-road and kind of find your own way to the finish line. I thought it looked great. I mean, because of the amount of players on the screen at one time. It's quite ambitious. I don't know how far this is gonna go, but I can't wait to play this game with my friends and try out all of the online functionality. Obviously, over the next few days, they're gonna talk more in-depthly about the game, so I'm gonna definitely look into that. So they finally showed the C button and what it does, where it allows you to chat with other friends and play with other friends around the world. And yes, this is an unusual thing. It comes with a Switch camera. And here's the thing, the Switch itself can pick up your voice. So you can play multiplayer with your friends, the Switch picks up your voice, and you have a camera on you, and you will appear on the screen. This could be a really welcome feature, and really could be a lot of fun. I can't wait to play with my friends and just see them all on the screen while we're playing games like Mario Kart World. But you need a Nintendo membership, online membership to play this, but they're giving it away for a free time, so you can just try out all the functionality of this brand new C button and playing with your friends. And here's something, I want to read this from my notes. You have game share. So one person can have a Nintendo Switch, and you can share that one game with other Nintendo Switch 2 players and Switch 1 players. That is a welcome feature, because one person can just own the game and share it with his friends or her friends. That is great. So no more having to buy all the same game. You can just share the game with specific titles for sure, but I thought that was a welcome feature. And you can do up to 3 Switches at a time. So as for hardware, we can do up to 120 frames a second, supports HDR. I like that. And on the screen, you get 4K in handheld, you go to 1080. That's what we expected. There's nothing kind of unusual about that. That's exactly what we expected. But I can't wait to play it in 4K on a TV. Obviously, the Joy-Cons are magnetic. You get mouse control with the Joy-Cons, better speakers, a bigger stand, which I really like the bigger stand. I think that's something that we really needed to get to make it more solid. And a second USB-C port for your camera or charging. So that second one that's up above, you can charge it or put a camera in it. And you got 256 gigabytes of internal storage, a brand new dock with 4K support, as I already mentioned. I love it. And here's the thing, it says that you can play Switch 1 compatible games. So that doesn't mean every game, just some compatible games will be allowed to play on Switch 2. And we'll have to figure out what that means in the future. I'm sure over the next few days we'll find out more information about that. So cards are exactly the same size, but they're just faster reading, and they're red now. And it looks like it's easy to do a system transfer from the original Switch to the Switch 2. And there's also a brand new Pro Controller. It looks exactly like the original, but it has a C button on it. So I better put away my Switch 1 Pro Controller so I don't get them mixed up, because they look so similar. The launch is June 5th, 2025. That's just around the corner, and it's kind of exciting that we're that close to trying out the Nintendo Switch 2. Now here's the bit that actually excited me. I was sitting there and I'm like, no way. Yes, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are getting updates for the brand new Switch 2. Better frame rates and HDR. That is amazing. You take two of the best games ever made and you give them that kind of support on the Switch 2. Wonderful. And for anybody who hasn't played them, this is the calling. This is the call of the wild for everybody to try out these games. I was looking at it and I'm like, great. You know, higher frame rates. It looked way better. Higher resolution. It's going to be great. I'm looking forward to that. So here's the thing. You can upgrade your initial versions of those games, or you can buy brand new Switch 2 versions of them. I'm buying the brand new Switch 2 versions of them just because I have to. And here's the thing that I knew was going to happen. Metroid Prime 4 is on the Switch 2, an enhanced version. 4K, 60 frames a second, HDR. I couldn't believe it. This game is going to look staggering on this system. I cannot wait. They showed Super Mario Party Jamboree, a Switch 2 edition, and it's got updated mouse controls in there. And Pokemon Legend is also getting an enhanced version. When you think about it, there's a lot of other things mentioned that are launching on Switch 2, but Metroid Prime 4 and Mario Kart, as like kind of in the launch window, we'll get Mario Kart right away. It's exciting. Like, these are two powerhouse games. If anybody wanted a little bit more, I definitely understand that. But look at what we're getting in the launch window with Metroid Prime 4 and Mario Kart 9. I hope Metroid Prime 4 is in the launch window. But boy, oh boy, does it ever look good. Okay, I'm looking at my list here. I'm not going to mention all of them, just some of the ones that stood out for me as third-party games that are coming to the Switch 2. We get Elden Ring finally, Hades 2, Street Fighter 6. Street Fighter finally returns to a Nintendo console. That's wonderful to see. Split Fiction, EA Sports games are coming, Hogwarts Legacy, Hitman, Bravely Default, Yakuza, the Director's Cut. Wow, that's great. And these games, like, for a lot of us out there have played a lot of these games, but I get excited for all the players who have not tried them and they get to try some new, different versions of the games, because I think there'll probably be a little bit of different functionality with some of them, and that's great. I mean, just to be able to play Street Fighter 6 on a Switch 2 is wonderful. They also showed another Hyrule Warriors game, and this is the Age of Imprisonment. And this game leads up to Tears in the Kingdom. So this is kind of the storyline of what happens before that. And it's everything that you expect to see from Hyrule Warriors, but it's going to be cool to see on a Switch 2 the amount of enemies on the screen at one time. Another thing that we knew we were getting, and that is for Switch Online GameCube support. We're getting GameCube games on the Switch 2. And for me, you know, for a lot of the older people out there, we're excited about that. We love the old GameCube games, and we're getting a brand new, beautiful looking version of Wind Waker. Everybody was wondering why we didn't get it, on the Switch 1. We're getting it on the Switch 2, and I don't think it's ever looked better, and I can't wait to play that game. We also get Soul Calibur 2 F-Zero GX, which is a stunningly fantastic game with multiplayer online, which is great. And they also said that there's more titles to come, and they showed all of the GameCube games that we all love, like Mario Sunshine was shown, so there's a lot more to come with GameCube games. The exciting thing about that too was they showed a GameCube controller, and at first I was like, oh, okay. And then they showed it was wireless, and I was like, yes, that's excellent, just like the original Wavebird, but with the GameCube controller itself. I am into that. I like that old controller. It's very nostalgic now, and to see that there's a wireless version for Switch 2, that kind of got me. Now, one thing I have to state, this stream was lagging, so the audio was completely off at times, and I was like, no. But they announced Cyberpunk and Final Fantasy VII Integrate at the point when it was really, really lagging. And I think Integrate, obviously, they're going to release that because it's both the original game and the upgrade, kind of like the DLC added on there, which will lead into Rebirth. And that's going to be on the Switch 2 in the future. That's guaranteed at this point. I'm excited for people who haven't played the Final Fantasy VII remakes. Great way to jump in and to experience those games. And here's an interesting one. From Software showed the Duskbloods coming in 2026, and it said only for Nintendo Switch. I don't know what this game is about. I was like, is it a multiplayer game? Because it was showing all these different characters, and I'm like, can you just play all those different characters? Or is it a multiplayer game? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but that was kind of an exciting, interesting title that I didn't see coming. And they showed Kirby Air Riders. Yes, a game from the time of the GameCube. They showed like an enhanced big version of it. I think it's a sequel. I didn't play the original, so I can't really comment on that. But I heard all the Kirby fans out there like screaming and going crazy. And then they said one more thing. And I gotta be honest with you, I was expecting a Mario game. Just to be shown a hint of that, there was none of that. And what we got instead was a Donkey Kong game, and we got Donkey Kong Bonanza, and it's a 3D action platforming game. And it's kind of nice to see Donkey Kong make a return once again. And you know, it's such a Nintendo thing to do, to really bring him back into the limelight. And it looked interesting. I liked how it was like 3D, and then it would go into 2D sections of it, which kind of went back to Donkey Kong Country. That was nostalgic, and that was very interesting. And I thought, okay, let's wait and see what some of the gameplay is and what this game has to offer in the future. And they showed two bundles for the Switch 2 that's getting released in June 5th. There's a regular bundle with just the console itself, and there's a bundle, and this is kind of my controversial thing, with a download code for Mario Kart 9. And I was like, no, I wish there was a physical copy in there. Like, right? I wish there was a physical copy in there. I was hoping for that. But I guess you'll buy Mario Kart 9 separately. I will definitely buy it separately, just so I have the physical copy of the game. But for the people out there who just like digital games, and there's a bunch of people out there that's like that, this is the way to go for you. You buy the bundle, you get the game. What a great start to the Switch 2. I will ask you guys, before I give my final thoughts here, what did you think of the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct? Did it live up to expectations? Did it disappoint? Let me know down below. Okay, final thoughts. What did I really think about everything? What did I really think about everything when all the dust has settled? And that's why I said I'm so glad I didn't live stream it. I was able to kind of take it in. You know, I really wanted them to show Mario because, well, I'm an old school Mario guy, and I was really hoping to see an open world 3D Mario game to kind of get my blood pumping a little bit. But what we got here was some exciting stuff. And we really have to kind of boil it down to day one, we get a brand new Mario Kart game and a huge open world game with 24 players. That is very exciting. And I'm looking forward to seeing what more that game has to offer. We're getting a Metroid game in 4K 60 frames a second. This is great stuff. An enhanced version on Switch 2? Well, everybody was going to go for that, right? But for anybody who just has a Switch 1 and is not playing and upgrading, you can just play it on Switch 1. That's fine. But for a lot of us that do like hardware and the real graphic fidelity, God, to see a brand new Metroid game in 4K, oh my God, I cannot wait. And also, what excited me, GameCube support, that's fun, but it was also for Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom getting upgrades to them, to their resolution and the frame rates. Great stuff. That's great stuff. And yes, we're getting this Donkey Kong game. Seems interesting for sure. There's more to come, folks. This is just day one obviously over the next launch window all the way to Christmas, there's going to be some more exciting things announced. We're going to get Fire Emblem games in the future, different Zelda games shown in the future. It's only the beginning, and it's like Christmas morning where everybody's like, I want more presents, where you got a couple of really big presents and a whole bunch of other little ones as well. There's a lot to unpack here, and I think there's a lot of fun to be had, especially with Mario Kart playing online. That's going to be great. I'm going to get crushed. I'm going to get crushed out there. But I'll ask you guys one last time, what did you think of the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct? Let me know down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.